Engage.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Winners Don't Use Drugs, presented by Engage Gaming, episode 86. I'm Darius.
Why?
I don't know why I paused. That's stop. Don't.
Nope. Keep going.
I'm keeping going, but I want you to stop.
Still getting used to the earlier time here. It's like,
Bro, hey,
all of us are kind of,
bro, I'm getting cooked.
I woke up at 8:30 and it makes me mad.
Yeah. Your body starting to know?
I woke up at 5 and was like, 5, awesome. Because I'm usually up at like 3, but.
Nah, it sounds,
yeah.
Yeah, I woke up at 8:30 last Tuesday and I woke up at 8:30 today and I'm mad.
Yes. Sunrise.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like being on the road.
I did get breakfast food though, so that makes it a little bit better.
I'm a little jelly. I hit snooze once, so I paid for my sins. Well, you know, we're all here as much as we can be. How much percentage you at today?
80.
Is that because of Street Fighter?
No.
Okay.
Just physically, everything's getting better.
Oh, look at that. See? Takes time, man. Nothing happens overnight.
Still not great, but better.
There you go. How you feeling, Zach?
We're chilling.
There we go. It's been a really good weekend.
Yes, it has.
Been an angry weekend.
You said a what?
An angry weekend. Getting cooked over here.
I want to get into a specific statement that Zach made in our chat because it warmed my heart to hear that, because I hadn't gotten there, but I know it's coming. So I was happy to see that he's already gotten there, because you've definitely already did a lot more competitive matches than I have. I've been trying to ride high on World Tour and just soaking that in. But
yeah,
I tried World Tour for like 8 minutes and I'm like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah,
no, you really got to get into it. It gets better as you go. But yeah,
Zach's not a big like beat him up and type of thing.
No, it's like I was thinking like 13-year-old me. It's like I was thinking yesterday. It's like I'm 13 all over again, because I'm playing Street Fighter, Zelda, and soon to be a new FF.
Yeah,
and it's like this is the SNES days all over again.
Yeah, it really is.
It's like this is like great. This is like the greatest time ever for me, anyway. It's
really fun.
This is my childhood just happening all over again. It's awesome.
They're like, I mean, even if you want to look at it like, I don't know what, 98, it's like Street Fighter, Zelda, Final Fantasy, Diablo, or what, 99? Was Diablo 2 99?
Oh, I don't know about Diablo.
No.
Y'all can have that mess.
But it just feels like an old era in gaming.
Diablo 2 came out in 2000.
So yeah.
People played Diablo, but
yeah.
I mean, I played
Diablo 2.
Diablo 2 was really
the
one that took it off.
I played PlayStation Diablo.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. I was like, I wonder why there are not more games like this on the PlayStation. Feels like this is like kind of a cool genre. I don't know.
Diablo 1 was 96.
Yeah.
I know a friend of mine plays that, and I remember when it was coming out on consoles, that was like an affront to his mortal soul.
Yeah, I always heard about that.
Like, how dare they?
2 didn't even come out on consoles. That was crazy.
No, because they learned from 1. Although 1 did well. Folks who played 1 on consoles obviously never played the PC version, because they loved it. Everybody else hated it. It's like, oh, this is awful. Why did they even bother doing this? Blah.
Someone said, bleh.
According to Nolan.
Hey.
No, because I'm just imagining the dude sitting there just doing it and being like, bleh.
I was around, man.
Yeah.
It's like, shoot, I remember how much everybody hated it. It's one of those things. I talk about Street Fighter 3. Everybody loved Third Strike now, but back in the day, not so much. MVC2, I still remember before that game came out, everybody hated the idea of it. It's only 4 buttons. It's simplified. It's stupid.
Oh, yeah.
And then the day the game came out, so the gameplay's not so bad, but the music, oh, my God. It was definitely a bunch of blahs on that. I can tell you that right now, me included.
Big time haters, because the moment I heard it, what?
Ooh, what is this?
Incredible.
Yeah.
Actually, that's peak audio. Okay, doesn't get any better.
But at that point, their music was starting to get weird anyway.
It's all
you
hip-hop,
already
jazz
had
fusion.
Yeah, and then like Alpha 3 even with its more like techno dance like theme stuff, which was good. I always liked it, but it was so different from anything that they had done before that. And then MVC 2 comes out and it's like, okay, now we're just doing smooth jazz. What's going on?
Just a
Nothing
hater
like
over
getting caught
here.
with a Hadouken and a saxophone solo going off in the background.
All right. So before we get down this rabbit hole of Street Fighter, and,
Yeah.
we have some things we want to talk about first. A instant classic came out in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
An instant classic.
Instant classic for all the wrong reasons.
Apparently.
If there were raspberries or whatever, the Razzies
The Razzies, yeah.
for games.
All right. So
Which I can't imagine there isn't something like
the
that.
game that we're referring to is Golem. Lord of the Rings Golem finally came out.
Very
And-
quietly.
Yes.
I
Like there
think I
was
know why
no
now.
marketing done behind
Absolutely
this game.
zero.
But I think because they knew.
I think they knew, yeah.
Didn't they do like a the first like preview trailer was at like VGAs?
It was something like that, yeah.
It was like
It wasn't
something
last
big.
year, but the year before, right?
Yeah, it was a while ago, yeah.
And it was like, oh, they're doing this Lord of the Rings game, and it's like, and then it was like Gollum, and it's like,
Now, I don't know. Everybody says, why did they make a game about him? I wasn't turned off by the idea of
No,
playing
I think it
with
was
Gollum.
fine. I think they could
Yeah.
have, like, they touched on it very barely on this game, but they could have done something really cool with the split personality thing with his internal struggle.
Yeah.
But they didn't. It was like one little like dialogue thing, and then it's like they don't touch on it anymore. And it's like, why? Why not make that like the focal point of the game? Something kind of like Hellblade.
Because obviously this was just a money grab for Warner.
Dude, this
Which
felt,
everything for them is that these days.
well,
it
this
seems
felt like the old, like back in the early 2000s when they made all those movie games. You knew there was going to be trash.
Yeah.
You knew it was going to just be a cash grab.
Yeah.
And this is what this, and we've gone away from that in the last like 10 years
For the most part, yeah.
And this is like, nah, we're coming back.
But yeah, it's like it's exactly what you said. I thought that was going to be like a big part of it. But now this, from what I hear, this takes place in a period of time where he's captured.
Yeah, he just lost the ring to Bobo or Bilbo, whatever the fuck his name is.
all right,
Bobo the clown.
yeah.
And like he's a slave for like Mordor for like a certain amount of time, but then he escapes. And I guess that's the period this game covers. Him escaping
Probably do like the intro would be him escaping and
Mordor. I think that's the game, but I don't know.
Or the whole game you're trying to escape Mordor?
That's my understanding. But I watched somebody stream it, and
But you do
now
a bunch of like fetch quests for other prisoners and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
I've watched 2 streams the day it came out because there was absolutely nothing else going on because everybody else was waiting for like Street Fighter to come out.
Yeah.
Street Fighter and Diablo. So I was like, hey, this game's out. Let's play it. One person, one stream I watched, they were actually sponsored to play it. Like they were given a early access code, and she played it for half an hour and started playing something else.
Ooh,
Yeah.
broke that sponsorship.
That's like I was
It
like
ain't
she
even
didn't.
worth
She's like I'll call my ad agency later and let them know. Hey, sorry, I couldn't do it. Now it doesn't look bad, but she was having issues doing like a jump. It was like a specific jump you're supposed to make somewhere, and it just did not work.
I mean, it
And
don't
the
look
AI is supposed to be pretty terrible.
Yeah, that's what I hear too.
like when you mentioned earlier that it was Warner Brothers, I didn't realize that. And so when I was talking about earlier, like they showed like that big cinematic trailer. Now, obviously, it was a cinematic, right? But to your point about the possibilities of what the game could be, this might be a situation where they thought they were going to get X amount of resources, and then Warner Brothers has now turned into if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, and so like they're cutting budgets of everything. They might have just lost whatever budgets they needed to make a game that was probably decent.
Yeah, this might have just been we've already spent so much money on it, we might as well get something back for it.
Yep.
Release what's there and be done with it.
Yeah, because that looks kind of, even the cutscenes is kind of. And I'm not a big graphics dude. Y'all know that. Like graphics don't have to be mind blowing, but
Me too.
it like some parts of it don't look bad, but then there's some stuff where it's like, yeah. And that sucks for Lord of the Rings fans because like those are it's a very popular like dedicated fan base, but sometimes when it comes to gaming, they get like the short end of the stick.
Yeah. I mean, there's been some
PS2
great Lord
games
of the
weren't
Rings
too
games.
bad.
They weren't.
And
Shoot,
then
what was it?
Shadows of Mordor is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They tried that.
They
mobile thing.
don't get that many games. Honestly,
It was a strategy game.
Third Age.
That's the RPG.
No, it was like
Oh,
years ago. It was
Middle Age.
maybe.
That's the MOBA.
The RTS.
Was it RTS? Or
It's a real time strategy game. I can't remember the name
think
of
it's
it, but
called
it came
Middle
out
Age.
like
I don't remember what the MOBA was called.
It came out
Middle Earth, maybe? No.
I don't know.
Came out
I like
years
the
and years
MOBA,
and years ago,
but it
but-
didn't get any support.
But either way,
No.
that's like one of my favorite games of all time, and it is like really good.
You know what I want another RTS of? I want another.
Homeworld.
No, that thing's getting delayed forever.
Development hell.
Development hell. It's going to be the next Duke Nukem.
I hope not.
You talking
No,
about
the Star Wars.
Star Wars?
Which one?
The Empire. What's it called? It was
Empires at War.
maybe.
Was it the one that was basically an Age of Empires mod?
No, it was the official release.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it was an official release, but it was made on the Age of Empires engine. I mean, it was basically Age of Empires with Star Wars stuff, which was absolutely fantastic.
That might be the one I'm thinking of.
And there was Rebellion, which everybody,
it was Empire at War.
yeah.
That's what we need another one of.
And then there was the one that was where you did like, it had like, you had to control resources on planets and stuff because you did it in space. First, you had to control the space around the planet, and then you went down to the planet and took it. And then you had like resource management and all that kind of stuff. It was a little more in depth, and it was good, but not like the old one that everybody thinks they want to play until they actually play it, and it's actually not great, but it's worth a lot of money because it's very hard to find. Although you can get it on GOG now. I think it was called Rebellion.
Star Wars Rebellion?
Yeah, I can't remember.
If it's Star Wars,
I mean, I still have the original box version, and I know for a while that game was going for like $300 because you couldn't find it, but you can get it like on anything now, and now anybody can get it for like $5 and see that it's not really what they think it was. I guess because it was the only strategy Star Wars game out at the time, and you know, if that's what you wanted, that was the only way you can get it. But trust me, it's not good.
All right.
What's something that was good?
So before when it came out essentially the same day as Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Diablo 4 came out also this weekend.
For the Scrooge McDucks.
Scrooge.
For the Scrooge.
Oh, because you have to get the deluxe version to get the early access.
Yeah, I've been hearing.
I mean, it was only like 10 extra bucks,
Yeah.
which in the grand scheme of things is a crazy marketing tool that's been working for the last like 3 years because a lot of companies have been doing this. Pay an extra $10 and get early access. I know Battlefield 2042 did it, or whatever the fuck that game's called. I always get the year mixed up.
Yeah, it don't matter because it's not good.
But yeah, Diablo 4 came out this weekend, and my first impressions. Well, before it came out, I didn't expect to play it because I was gonna play Street Fighter, but I ended up playing it, and boy, can I tell you, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised how good it is. It's not even like my relationship with Diablo games is kind of rocky over the last like pretty much all of them. Like I played the second one a little bit. I didn't play it like hardcore like a lot of people. I played through 3 and just played the campaign and didn't touch it again after that. 4 is really good. I'm still in Act 1 and I'm like level 30, which is like a lot because I just keep doing side quests and get distracted with different dungeons because there's like dungeons everywhere that you can go and do, and you do the dungeons, you unlock like special abilities and stuff.
Nice.
So there's a shitload to do. It feels like an actual like MMO. 'Cause there's so much to do.
I like that.
But it also feels like a Diablo game. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's been really fun.
Yeah, I have a handful of friends who've already they jumped in early, and nobody has said anything but like, yeah, this is what we've been waiting for since Diablo 2 for a lot of people.
This is what 3 should have been.
Yeah, like they have the visuals, they have the like you said, the amount of stuff to do, and just like most of the people I know who've been playing it, that's kind of been the same thing that's happened to them, where it's like, yeah, I was over here doing one thing, and then it led to me going to look over here, and then I started doing this, and this person had a thing for me to do, and it's just like, but they've been having so much fun, it hasn't felt like a chore or anything like that. Like they want to see what's next, they want to be able to figure out the next thing, and finding the items and stuff feels good for people, which is something Diablo always has. Like
The looting.
Yeah, like loot is always so hard for them to balance because there's so much expectation from people about how it should work, and things like that. And so far, people seem to be happy with it.
Yeah, I mean it's really good.
I'm waiting to get that sorcerer in there so I can shock some stuff.
Yeah, I ended up playing a barbarian. I'm not 100% sure I like it, but
Really?
I'm trying to make it work.
I didn't expect you to play a barbarian.
I didn't know what I wanted to play. I had when I turned the game on, I still had no idea what I was going to play.
Gotcha.
I got to the screen, I'm like, I'll try barbarian and see how it goes. It's okay. I probably would like a different class more, but I'm just going to roll with it for now and see how it goes.
Yeah.
I've already put so much work into it that.
I mean, you could always start a different character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've had a lot of fun with it. It's really good.
I want to play the druid, but I kept hearing so much bad stuff about the druid.
No, I don't listen to that shit, man. I've heard good things about druids.
Really?
Yeah, people they have their opinions. If it's not the character they like, they're gonna fucking bash it.
Yeah, it felt like a lot of people who like to min-max stuff.
Yeah,
and like I'm always weary about that stuff because I don't know. I feel like there's always just such a you making the game seem like a job when you're trying to be that efficient. Like, oh yeah, if you pick this class, you got to do it this way because this is. So, well, what's the whole purpose of all these other chains and skill lists and stuff if we're just gonna do it that way?
Yeah, you could do whatever you want. Like even with the barbarian, there's a lot of different. I've respect like 4 or 5 times already. Just trying out different.
It's really easy to respect.
Yeah, and it's not expensive either. And like I said, I've respect about 4 or 5 times. Just trying different things, trying different combos. Or when I get like a new weapon, I'm like, oh, I want to try something like this. So I'll rebuild my whole character just to play around the weapon and see how it works.
Yeah, that's fun.
But yeah. All right. I guess we can move on.
Nolan needs to.
He has
very
some.
important.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, since we're done with Diablo, you can come back to it.
I mean, oh man, I didn't mean sorry.
Oh, you checked out completely.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
You were playing your phone game.
I had.
I seen high score.
Something important came up. I'm sorry. No, I've heard varying things about Diablo. It seemed like some folks were just ready to hate the game before it came out for some reason. But
Yeah,
that's
because
always
it's fun to hate.
it's
on
always
Blizzard
that.
stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, it looks cool. It's just not. It's never been my cup of tea. I played Diablo 1 and 2, and it's just like I just don't like these types of games. But it looks cool.
Yeah.
So they make good.
Not
good
an
games.
ARPG fan.
Not really. For some reason, I don't know. Just not my thing. But it looks great. All right. So I just wanted to address one thing real quick.
Is it spoiler based? Because Steven's gonna be mad.
Tears of the Kingdom. No. Okay. Doesn't spoil anything.
Tears.
Yep.
Yeah. So, that game just continues to just be an utter just excellence in gaming, all of that stuff. Love it. Love everything about it. There's one small thing, and I think a lot of folks will agree with me, that makes this the worst video game ever made. A gross error that was not fixed from the last game. You still can't pet the dog.
Nintendo's not
How? Who at Nintendo? How did they not get that message?
Because they want you to go buy Nintendo dogs and cats.
I mean, you can feed the dog. The dog has hearts come up. It'll chase its tail and it'll chase you around the little place and everything and bark at you and be happy and see you when you come up and it's happy that you're there and everything. But you can't go up and tap it on the head.
Well, sometimes maybe Link wants to maintain personal boundaries about contact and stuff like that.
You never see him embrace Zelda.
That's true, but they've never really been a thing except for Wind Waker.
They don't have to be a thing. You can't give a friendly hug or handshake.
Love tap.
He's her personal knight in these games too. It's like that. That's just
The knight usually. I mean, the princess
not
usually
cool.
rewards the knight with a little, little showmon.
And then if you
I don't know about that, but
if you look at the old '80s cartoon, Link was
He's a little physically
kind of
a little
a creep.
Bill Cosby-ish.
Maybe just a little.
little handsy, not respect. See, maybe now he's trying to respect boundaries.
Yeah.
because he had a history of not respecting boundaries. This is what you call character growth.
I'm
and
actually
development.
amazed that Nintendo let all that pass.
Well, it was a different time.
Yeah, it was a different time.
Back
I don't
then,
think
they wanted to play into the idea that you were saving Zelda for,
a kiss or whatever it was he was after.
it's implied.
Her flowers.
I mean, like Peach made cakes
She got some
in
cake.
'64. Yeah.
Not
in
gonna lie,
'64 game,
last
he was
year-
after her cake the entire time. And what does she do at the end of the game? She gives you her cake.
We're gonna just gloss right over that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like it drives me insane. It's like how, because I was at one and the dog was all happy and everything, and I went to go interact with it. It's like clearly they must have put interact with the dog in the game.
No.
Clearly,
How you know the dog
Just,
wants
you
you
have
to
to
touch
fuse it with something else.
maybe if I fuse the dog on my shield.
Now
But
you
yeah.
made-
I didn't know there's a dog in that game.
Yeah, there's like at the horse stables.
Oh, so
Oh, so
There's
I've-
there's
It's not
always
your
a
dog.
there. No, it's not your dog. There's just
Oh,
there's
then-
always a dog there. But you
not that
can.
people's dogs.
You don't go pet random people's dogs unless you ask
I
permission.
do.
Did you ask permission?
You roll up to
I was trying to, but the game wouldn't even let me do that.
look at this loose
No.
dog.
You can feed the dogs, and they'll eventually like you. And then every time you come back, they'll run up to you, they'll bark, they'll run around you, they'll follow you around everywhere. It's like, great, let me just reach over and touch the dang dog.
I've watched Danielle play that probably about, at this point, 8 to 10 hours. Obviously, she's played like 200 hours, but I've watched probably about 8 to 10 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen that dog. But she fast travels everywhere.
You out here making it efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame her. I get like that. I've been doing that a lot in World Tour.
Oh, is there a fast travel in War Tour? Speaking of War Tour, I guess we're going to talk a little bit. Talk about this game, Street Fighter.
Street Fighter 6.
Little game that came out Friday. Might have heard
What
of
do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about World Tour or you want to talk about something else?
I mean, I feel
Or
like
your general thoughts of the game.
I feel like there's a general order that you should go in, so we can start with World Tour.
You gonna go from the menu side?
Well, like I feel like it's the outsides and then the middle.
Okay.
But yeah, either way. So yeah, Street Fighter 6. We've been talking about it on and off for how long now? How many months waiting for it?
About 8.
Yeah. And it's like I'm just gonna say it's everything that I was hoping it would be. And in some ways more. It's so ridiculously good. And of course, this is coming from a diehard Street Fighter fan, so I might have a little bias here. But it just truly is one of the best just overall fighting video game packages
Yeah.
that you could get. I mean, even if you've never played a Street Fighter or a fighting game at all,
This is a good game.
this is it's just and that's what I've been saying ever since Street Fighter 4. It's like,
Street Fighter 4 is a good fighting game.
yeah. And this one, and then it's like they concentrated on the fighting game part. It's like Capcom could make a fighting game, but it's like they forgot that fighting games are also video games. And this one's just a great video game, just overall, that has great fighting game in it, but other stuff.
Yes.
So much other stuff.
Well, the bar had to be raised, and so I had a conversation last night with somebody about. They were like, "Man, I hope NetherRealm sees this and sees that, you could do a little more. Like, give us a little more. Like, the story mode and stuff is great, but give us a little more of being in your world. Like, you've created these worlds. That's the thing. Like, the fighting games back in the day, they were good because you got pieces of the world. Like, there was a limitation involved because you couldn't create the world and have the fighting game systems that they had, right? So they had to give you whatever their world was through these little, tile cutscenes and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But the reason why we liked the fighting games that we did was, one, yes, the mechanics and stuff were good, but to be a good fighting game even back then, you had to have characters that people liked for character reasons. Like, people liked Ryu and Ken and whatever the little pieces that they were given, even in the little comic books and stuff like that and Mortal Kombat were doing. People liked those characters. They wanted to get more. So as video games started to evolve, fighting games just kept making the fighting game system.
Games, yeah.
And was like, here you go. And everybody's like,
more on that. Everybody's like, well, I'd like to know more about
what's going on.
Yeah.
And two, the content itself for the casual fans, it became, this is not enough. Like, if it's just going to be a fighting game and we got like God of War, I can get my button mash combo action out of God of War, plus I get the story of Kratos.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, well, you guys can't make Kratos, but you can give us something, you got to be able to do something. And it's just speaking about like you said, the overall package, man, like, Lewis came Saturday, right? And he was like, man, I want to try it. You guys talking all this mess about Street Fighter. I want to try it. He's like, but I'm going to just try the World Tour because I'm not going to play the fighting game, stuff like that. It's like, yeah, I feel you. And he started playing, and he was like, hey, this is actually fun. And I'm like, yeah, this for people who aren't talking about going to Evo or just trying to be even the best in their local community. Like, for a regular person to play a game, this is the stuff that made the Naruto games and the Jump Forces and all this stuff sell so well.
Yes.
So that regular people who don't want to try to learn all this stuff can grab the game and do stuff that looks cool and they feel like they're doing something.
Yeah. I mean, they finally made the Street Fighter Final Fight RPG I've wanted ever since I was 12 years old. It's like, that's what it is. Because, I mean, you get in this, and it's one of those things that even if you don't really know the lore, what lore exists in this world, it's still easy to jump into. But if you do know the lore, all the stuff that they point out and the Easter eggs and the characters that show up, like, you run into Retsu and Carlos, and most folks have no idea that who they are, and truly you have to be kind of a Street Fighter Final Fight nerd.
A Capcom nerd.
Yeah, you kind of have to be a Capcom nerd.
Zach's played all these games. He has no idea who most of those people are.
I need you to read this line.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's some wild dialogue in World Tour mode.
They were serious about the games. Yeah.
We wear these cardboard boxes on our heads.
Okay, look,
to show the world just how serious we are about the gangster life.
So look, no one ever said this was like gonna be Pulitzer Prize worth story.
I was expecting Spike Lee type storytelling.
I would give this game a -5 if it was a Spike Lee joint.
If it was a Spike Lee joint, yeah.
Spike Lee got his hands on 2K one time.
Once, yeah.
Okay? And it tanked the whole... Like, they've never recovered from a Spike Lee joint in basketball, which is something he already made a movie about.
Yeah.
Imagine him being Street Fighter.
Why,
first of all, my brother, why are you in the streets? That's where they want you to be. I'm not going to do it.
But no, but like you said though, it's not really the story that you get into. It's getting to know the characters. The character beats are top notch.
Yep.
It's like you're learning stuff about Chun-Li and Ryu and that it's like you look at them in completely different ways. It's almost like they're human beings now.
I'm going to give one spoiler about World Tour about a specific story. So all of the characters in the game, because this is really the way they introduce the actual roster to you. Like, if you don't know, all of those cutscenes they were showing when they were introducing those characters in the videos before are just from World Tour mode.
Yep.
But you have these relationships, right? And you can give gifts to all of them are called masters. You can give gifts to them, and that'll allow you to get more information from them. You get artwork, stuff like that, dialogue and cutscenes and stuff. if you get Luke to level 3, which pretty much you playing the game almost guarantees you're gonna do it.
Oh yeah.
He goes on about his life with his dad, like his backstory, and he's like, his dad was in the army and his dad was, checked out and all this stuff, and he's like, that's why I wanted to fight Ken, because he was so concerned with being a fighting champion that he abandoned his son Mel. They're both deadbeats, and I was trying to knock that deadbeat out, but he beat me. So, and I'm like, wait. First of all, the fact that they are in Capcom canon, having somebody call Ken a deadbeat dad is hilarious, right? But then the fact that he was like, I tried to fight him because he was a deadbeat and he beat me. So now I'm even more motivated because I got folded in by the guy I hated. Like, just hearing these little goofy backstories for all these characters is to me, again, as a Capcom nerd, it's great for me. So I'm excited that they're doing all this little stuff because it makes me want to keep playing the World Tour mode.
It's like having Chun-Li kind of flirt with me just feels weird. It's like, it's just weird. It's like when the hot girl just comes up and starts talking to you out of nowhere. It's like, what?
You getting a little flummoxed?
Like what? What? Oh, me?
A little hot in the collar?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, you want some of this? Okay, cool.
I'm trying to max out Marissa right now, so I'll let you know how that goes.
But the story, it's a fighting game story. Even the best fighting game stores are still,
Yeah, I have no doubt that NetherRealm won't have to worry about being threatened in that category. Okay, this is very goofy.
This is easily the best Street Fighter story ever written.
The only coherent version of the Street Fighter story. Okay,
I mean the one in 5 it was coherent. It's just ridiculous. I mean it was like a Saturday morning cartoon, but
which is what this is. This is just a big Saturday. This is like the Street Fighter 5 was like 92, and this is like 96. Where it's starting to kind of get better. You're allowed to tackle semi uncomfortable issues.
Yeah, we're in a time where Batman exists. Mm-hmm. So cartoons can get a little more dark, and they can even cuss every now and then. Because let me tell you, when Jury first shows up and she says what she says, is like, oh. It's like, oh, okay, it's a teen-rated game. Okay, I get it.
They throw in these moments of being like, this is serious. But then we wear cardboard boxes on our heads to show how we serious about the gangster. It's like, all right, well.
It doesn't take itself seriously. The story gets serious at times, but it doesn't take itself too seriously
at all.
Like not at all, which is totally fine. But like I said, it's the character beats that are easily the best part of it. Yeah, you feel like, and this is why World Tour mode. This is why it's the first mode that they show you. Like you said, if you've never played a Street Fighter before, you're probably more worried about playing a game than playing a fighting game. So jump in here and get to know all the characters. By the time you play through this story and then you start playing the fighting game stuff, you feel like you know these characters. You went through this. Yep. You went through this whole questing stuff with all of these different characters. So now whenever you're fighting, Jury, you're like, and then you're fighting Chun-Li, you're like, hey girl, or whatever.
Well, I feel like too, it's a way for. So one of the hardest things about if you're trying to be competitive in a fighting game, right, is matchups. Right? How do you learn matchups? How do you get familiar with the characters? Well, this is a way for you, which I did not even know you could do.
Yeah, I didn't even know you could hit the bus. I wonder if you get anything for
the game is having you switch to all these different styles. Like, hey, try this. Every time you meet somebody, try their style out. Try their style out. Yeah. You're getting bonuses. You're getting cosmetic stuff. Like, there's all this incentive to get more familiar with the characters and their moves. Mm-hmm. Now, the one thing I will say is that, like, they don't give you all of their moves when you get a style unlock, which could be a good or bad thing because it would help you get better with those particular moves they give you, which are the base of the characters. And then some of the other moves you get later are, advanced moves.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and that's another thing too. This was clearly made for someone, again, who's maybe never even played a fighting game at all. Game. Nope. So this really eases you into it because the stuff that you do in this also slowly teaches you how to play the game.
Yes,
and they put it in there as game mechanics like side quests and side jobs and stuff where you're learning how. Like I just did the one where you chop the bottles.
Yes,
and I'm like, this is weird. Oh, I'm learning how to do charge moves.
Yep.
It's exactly what I am, because I'm holding one direction until the bar fills all the way up, and then I'm pressing the opposite direction and hitting the button.
Making the pizza, doing Hadouken motions and 360s and half circles and stuff.
Yep.
Like those things are goofy and funny for us, but for a new person, it's getting them.
Yeah, they don't even realize
they're getting trained.
Now all of a sudden when they meet Honda and he gives them, his move set and he has a charge move.
Yep.
It's like, oh, this is just like when I chop the bottles. It's wax on, wax off all over again. It's great.
It is. and the actual main quest stuff where you're going to like a tournament and you got to fight all of these created fighters, and they have move sets that like aren't in the game yet. It's like, okay, y'all better quit playing and start really. You better first of all
give us access to some of those moves.
Give us access to some of those moves,
please.
But this character, like this roster, needs to be thick by the time this is over with. And I'm okay. Yeah. I'm okay with you releasing it in pieces and stuff like that. That's fine. I get it. But yeah, it gives me a lot of excitement of what could be in the game.
I mean, the main quest in this alone is 15 to 20 hours if you just do the main story stuff from start to end credits. But if you're trying to do everything like I am, because I'm already 12 hours into it or something like that, and I know I'm not even halfway through.
What level are you?
31.
Okay, me and you around the same thing. I thought I was putting a lot of time into it, and then I was talking to Ramon yesterday, and I was like, what level are you, Ramon? Because he was like, hey, these level 28s is just in my face, and I'm just 3-shotting them. And I was like, hey, so what level are you? He's like 47. I was, God. But for him, so this is another thing. For him, he hadn't played Street Fighter since 4, and he didn't really like 4. And so he grew up playing, 2 and to a lesser extent 3. But he's like, no, I'm back in. Like he's like, I like this. He's like, I know I'm gonna get folded online, but I can play this mode and have fun with it and do stuff and like unlocking the gear and all that stuff. Like, brother, the over excessive RPG collector want to get the stuff to make my character look like Akuma. I'm dug in. I just got the tattered gi. Because they kept trying to give you the send-off gi. Like, I don't want I just got my first gi. I don't want people know I'm a novice. They look at this gi. But all of that little stuff, man, goodness, it's just so fun. And we hadn't even gotten to the actual, like, playing against people in person or playing online.
Oh, no.
Zach, what do you think about what you've played? Because I know you didn't spend a lot of time in World Tour.
Are you asking about World Tour specifically?
No. I'm talking about, like... I mean, if we want to keep going on World Tour, we can. But I feel like I want to.
I mean, I didn't really touch. Like I said, I played like 8 minutes of World Tour and was done. Like it just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
And it gives me a chance to play Diablo.
Yeah.
Where you guys are playing World Tour, I'm playing Diablo. So, but I'm enjoying the game. I'm kind of in a. I'm not sure who I want to play with. Like I going into, I wanted to play Zangief, and I'm liking Zangief. I don't know if he's the character for me, but I'm gonna keep working on him, obviously. But we'll see.
Yeah, it just takes time.
The problem is that the characters I've used in the past aren't in the game.
I know that feeling.
With like El Forte and Sagat, those are the 2 main characters I've used. And they're just not in the game. I feel like El Forte will never be in the game. Sagat has a chance to be.
Sagat has a chance. Yeah.
Because I just feel like there's gonna be the Shadow Loot pack. It just the way I
hope not, but
the way that they've leaned into their history, and like it seems to be one of the few things that Capcom can do that guarantees success to a degree. And there's gonna be people who played the old ones and now they're playing 6 and they're like, hey, so where are those guys? Because that's kind of what happened in 5 to a degree. It was like, okay, yeah, but like where are the rest of them?
I'd also like to see Fei Long.
Yes. Yeah. With the way this game plays, I would love to see Fei Long. And look, he's got to have that weird flipping kick where he jumps across the screen in 4.
Chicken wing.
Yeah, the chicken wing. Like he's got to have that. Like in this game with the overdrives and all. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I guess I'm having a hard time figuring who I want to play. I'm gonna try Lily a little bit over the next week. See how that goes. But
I've been playing the big lady. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I haven't played her much at all yet.
She's definitely, so when you go look at the character select screen, they have ratings for each of the characters as far as difficulty.
Oh yeah.
Most of them say medium or whatever.
Zangief is hard.
Zangief,
and I understand
Chun-Li,
why.
and JP.
He has a hard time getting in,
Yeah, like
Yeah.
and some people, I think like Zangief's
especially without his green hand.
Yeah,
But he has so much better stuff than the Green Hand now. I mean, just
Yeah, but
the
green
basic
hand
game
helps
mechanics.
him get in.
well, because it covers distance while being a
Strong
safer attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Marissa is an easy character, and a lot of it's because one, all of her inputs are standard, either quarter circle one way or quarter circle the other way.
Mm-hmm.
She also has a lot of super armor moves, right?
So it's a you can get to a level of comfort that is very easy to exploit, because it's not low armor. It's only top part armor, and it's only for certain parts of the move. So like if you don't charge, you don't get it, and then if it's at the end of the charge, it still goes. It doesn't work. And then if people do it's easy to break. So like if you did the drive impact as I'm doing the charge punch, you're gonna win.
No. Wait, no, which not just her normal punch or a normal punch. Yeah.
Yeah. If you do the full charge, then yes. So like if you catch yourself in a bad spot, I do the short punch, you do drive impact, you got me. But there are some really fun things that she can do that you have to still do timing with. Like her combos are not long, which is really good for new players too. But you can get a lot of damage out of them.
I mean, she can
hurt you real fast.
Her damage output is ridiculous.
Yeah,
just from like normals and stuff.
It's just nothing's going to be that many hits. That's the trade off. Is
she's one of the few characters. Her punch, her fireball punch move, the full charge version of that breaks armor. So if like what you're talking about, if you find yourself in the middle of something and somebody's starting to drive impact you and you have time to do a full charge of that punch, it'll break the armor.
Yeah, like
in one hit. I mean, then you got a character like E Honda. If you're fast enough, just do any version of his 100 hand slaps and it hits like 3 times instantly. It effectively breaks armor like just like that. It's great.
I fought a Cammy during my rank attempts, and apparently. Huh?
Who'd you play your ranked with?
Marissa. Apparently, Cammy, her crouching jab is so fast that he could do a move, I do my drive, and he'd crouch and jab.
Just jab.
Right out of it. And I was like, and he would just do it, every time the person would do it, and it would be like, you got me. You got me.
I mean, if he has such good reaction, why don't he just drive impact you back?
He did a couple times, too. That person I played I played them twice, and they beat me both times. And I honestly, I had a closer second fight with the Platinum Ryu than I did the second time with the Cammy. The Cammy was just like, "Hey, you're not ready for this, bud."
I haven't done my.
But even losing, most of the time that I've lost, I've been like, okay, there was definitely things I needed to learn.
Yeah.
I lost my very first ranked fight against a Jamie. And I was like, nah, bro, I need that back. Like I was just nervous and like you ain't got nothing for me. And the third fight, I 2-0'd him. And I was like, okay, yeah, let me get comfortable.
Yeah, I haven't done my ranked placement yet. I kind of still, I hadn't played a lot of online yet. I did whenever I streamed on Friday, and I plan to probably do it tomorrow. I'll probably stream it and see where I go. It's I love this part.
Do the rooms yet? Like with everybody, I want to see how that goes too.
Yeah. We'll hopefully set that up tomorrow.
Yeah,
when everybody's here. Hopefully everybody's here. Oh yeah, I forgot. Shoot. So I have to do that. Anyway, I love this part of a new fighting game when everybody's still trying to kind of learn, kind of everybody's kind of on an equal footing, kind of sort of,
No, they're not.
I mean, well,
you got debate up like what were you saying earlier about
Oh, you go against up any Ryu or Luke in rank, you know you're
yeah.
about to catch the business because they've been playing this game for 3 weeks.
and
Ready.
Some of them been playing it for 6 months.
the Ryu so the Platinum Ryu I played again. I think it's like Platinum 4. Isn't that like the highest before you hit Diamond?
5.
Is it Platinum? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So he didn't get no rank off me. I bet you that. I wasn't worth nothing. Every time he landed a hit, he drive dash confirmed into like this 5-hit drive dash, 5-hit drive dash, like 13 hit maximum combo. And I'm like, yeah. Because it wouldn't like it would be one thing if it was just one setup, but it was like, nope. If I land a hit, you're getting all of this.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, bud, you got it.
That's what I'm trying to get to with Honda now. So he's like the one I'm concentrating on right now, and I feel like I'm finally getting the hang of it. Every first match I've had, though, I still want to try to do his hands the old way. It's like nope, fireball, dang it. So that's still trying to reprogram my brain on that.
That was my problem with DJs. Why I didn't play him as much. It's because I'm trying to do old DJ inputs, and he's got feints now, and he's got the shaky leg foot switch to another move, and I'm like, bro, I don't know when to do that.
Yeah, you got to learn all that stuff. Yeah, like trying to integrate Honda's new sumo walk stance thing and the combo enders and stuff like that. And that's what I've been working on.
Did he always have the little like
recently.
sunlight power up thing?
So he had that in 5.
Okay.
Most folks think this is new to 6. It's like, no, did you not play 5?
A lot of people didn't.
It was his.
A lot of people did not play 5.
Bro, I honestly thought it was a new move when I saw it. I was like, oh, he's got some little.
No, I mean, I've seen pros be like, oh, that's brand new. It's like, it was in 5.
They probably didn't play 5.
Well, they probably didn't play season 5 of 5 when he showed up. I mean, he did show up pretty late into it, but it was his V skill 2, is what it, because
it wasn't optimal.
his V skill 1 is the clap, which is just a normal move. Now it's just down punch. His V skill 2 was when he did that, and it changed how his hands worked. It combos from things that it didn't combo before. It leaves you plus on hit or block, so you can do things after, which is a bigger deal in 6 because all of his hands don't leave you safe anymore. So his hands are no more his main like pokes. His headbutts are.
Really?
Yeah, his headbutts are safe. His EX headbutt is not, though, and it leaves you closer. So only use the EX headbutt as like an anti-air or like a combo finish or something like that. But yeah, I've stolen quite a few online games with by having those hands and being able to scoop. Now his old hands combo from 5 doesn't work anymore. His forward fierce kick into hands, that doesn't work anymore, but his ducking fierce punch in the hands does. So if you didn't watch the feat, and I have hands and I have all 3 bars, you're probably dead. There was a few fights where I was like, oh, this is looking bad. Oh, I hit the low fierce punch, game over. Because I get hands, I get fierce hands out of that, ducking light punch, hands again, level 3. And that, let me tell you, that's about 40 to 45% of your life gone. Well, about 40%. If I learn how to do the drive rush stuff, it'd be closer to 50. So when I learn how to do that, it's on. But that aside, it's like everybody I've played has been a lot of fun.
Haven't had any connection issues. I don't know about you all.
Me and Jonathan dropped a couple times.
I dropped once,
but
and I'm not 100% convinced that it wasn't a rage quit either.
What did you have like when you're playing? Well, I said this before it dropped. Did you have like frame issues or anything?
It would freeze.
Oh,
so we'd be in the middle of a match and it would freeze, and we're like, uh-oh, and then one of us get disconnected.
Okay.
I've seen. I was watching was watching somebody last night before I went to bed. And apparently, he was having issues with it all day.
Really?
He had been like streaming for like 3 hours, and he maybe dropped like eight times apparently. Because when I was watching like in the middle of a match, it just stopped, and then everything paused, and he was like, "Oh no!" And then it was like connection error. So he restarts the game, tries to get into the room with the same guy again. They start fighting again. It happened again.
Wow.
Now he believes it's a hardware issue on his side.
Oh, okay.
Because like I said, he was getting it so much. But even with that, he was like, "This is the most fun I've had playing Street Fighter like ever." So he was still having fun with it, even with that. I disconnected from somebody once. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure it was a rage quit. The only reason I think it wasn't because they were in the middle of a move. I was hitting them, and they got up and went to go do something, and then all of a sudden everything stopped. So
yeah, it's probably not then.
Yeah, probably not.
Unless they just wanted to play it off, which is even crazier.
That's what I do when I rage quit.
You do?
I move forward to hit a button and unplug.
I got to throw a slow
What
Hadouken
happened?
out.
I was a lightning strike in, or the power went out. Sorry about that, man. Maybe next time.
Nah, I can't reconnect to you, my boy. I don't want to do that to you.
What? You showed up on my band list. How did that happen? Huh?
Games should be doing stuff sometimes.
Yeah, it's weird. Oh well.
Moving on. No, I first of all, I'm still seeing I don't see as many monstrosities in the player lobbies as I thought I would.
do. Oh my God! So yesterday I was playing. Yesterday late morning I played.
That's when the weirdos be playing.
Battle Hub. I finally got a chance to just sit down in there for like an hour or two, and yeah. Oh, there's still craziness out there. Now most folks don't bother to play around with the character creator enough to do that. Mm-hmm. I did finally get to try the avatar fights though, and let me tell you, as what almost feels like a throwaway mode, just kind of something fun to give everybody to do. Kind of it's just one more thing that this game gives you to do when you're tired of playing a fighting game, and let me tell you. It was, even when I was getting absolutely destroyed in it, it was still so much fun.
Yes.
To see this character that's as bright as the sun with a mask over their face and just underwear, but like bright white. It's like, why do you even look like this? It was just hilarious. But the combination of moves that they have and stuff, and one thing of note, if you plan to do Avatar, if you want to do Avatar fights, you think that's going to be your thing, which I can totally see.
Oh yeah,
that somebody only does those. Play through World Tour mode long enough to open up every mechanic, because everybody else has. I made the mistake of doing it before I was able to do like drive impacts and parries, and I only had access to like level 1 super moves and stuff. Meanwhile, these guys have everything, and they're using it. So,
because when you do the avatar builder in World Tour mode, you can have like X number of super moves, X number of super arts, air supers. Like you can have way more than any of the characters in the actual game have, you can have way less than anybody actually has in the game if you hadn't got far enough.
Yeah.
And the game will let you do avatar battle either way, and trust me, you will know immediately why you got two squares of drive gauge and this dude got 7.
Exactly. Exactly, because all that stuff carries over.
Yeah.
So kind of make sure you're fighting somebody who's like close to your rank. That'll give you an idea if you can go in with them, because the first guy I fought was like level 27 and I was still like level 13. So
gave you the beats.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. I mean, not even close.
Well, like the different special moves that people have, like one dude had Ken and Ryu's moves, but also had Zangief's power driver.
Of course.
So he was like, doing the old school, fireball, Shoryuken stuff, and then you got too close and it's just like, 360 power driver.
Yep. I mean, I was doing that. I found myself in World Tour mode, and the version I went into the Avatar fights with, I was still using Chun-Li's style. So it was all of her moves. And I was like, man, this is, because otherwise I wouldn't have never played with Chun-Li.
Oh, yeah.
But now I'm thinking about it because I played with her moveset for so long. I feel like I'm kind of familiar with it now. So I can actually go try out like the real her in the full game. But so I had her, I was using her style. I had a spinning bird kick. I had I was using spinning bird kick. I had Luke's rising upper. I had
I got rid of that as soon as I got something else.
Lily's I was using her super move. Yeah, and because I hadn't unlocked her command grab yet. But yeah, just this like and I found in War Tour mode for like the longest time that was getting me through fights like easy. But like going back to World Tour, like what any good fighting game story mode kind of does is because that's what I always liked about the Injustice games, particularly the Injustice games and the MK games too, is they force you to play with
the different characters.
Yeah, all the different characters, and you're not just making a character; you're playing as those characters. In this game, you're making a character, but you're kind of a blank slate. You start off with Luke, but you gain.
You quickly start to be able to, like within playing probably 2 hours, you'll probably have access to if you just do
the story stuff. Yeah,
you'll probably have access to 4 styles.
Oh yeah, easy. Yeah, because by then you should have Luke, Chun-Li,
Marissa, DJ, and
Marissa,
Blanca. And Lily, because all that
and her, yeah. Because she was the first one. No one even told me to go to Mexico. She was just, I did a side quest. That's right. And then somebody gives me a flight ticket and says she's going to Mexico, and I'm like, oh, well, wait, how do I get to the world map? Oh, there it is. There's the world map. Oh, it is open. Okay, well let's go meet her. So you can actually get her pretty early if you do that.
Yeah, I mean quest. You can. Yeah, if you do just the main missions, you can get access to most of probably a good half of the roster 5 hours in or so. Yeah, maybe even less than that. Mm-hmm. Some of them are side quests though, so you got to do some.
Yes, some of the characters are much more important to the actual story than others, but they're still there on your quest, and that's what's cool too. This isn't you aren't playing like Ryu's story or Guile story or
at least you got arcade mode if you want to do that.
Yeah, you are playing your story, but there's stuff going on in the world around you that you get involved in, and along that quest because you got your own personal thing and the stuff that's going on in the world where you run into other characters who become your masters, and that's how you learn their moves and stuff. And it obviously a lot of thought went into it. They didn't just tack on an RPG mode. Like I said, it's so well integrated into the whole game because you're learning how to play the game as you're playing a neat little beat 'em up RPG. Yep. And then before you know it, you're learning how to do all the motions, playing the little side side jobs and stuff, and then you get into the actual game, and now all of a sudden, not only do you know these characters kind of like again as like living beings, you feel like you know them, and now you already know their moves because at least for a short time for each one of them, especially if you try to do other side quests and stuff, because some of them require you to play as play with Cammy's moveset in order to do a certain thing. So now you have to play with her stuff, and like me with Chun-Li stuff, you may find that hey, this is actually kind of fun, kind of expand what you would otherwise do in a game. Because I have a bad habit of that with fighting games. I'll find one or two characters, and I'll pretty much stick with them the whole time.
That's how I am too.
Yeah, and that's what I liked about games like Injustice that forced me to use other characters because otherwise I may not do it on my own.
Mm-hmm. Well, with Mortal Kombat, I always play through the story mode to see who I'm going to play this time around.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
I don't even touch the regular, like just the straight versus mode until I finish the campaign on Mortal Kombat.
Because it just gives you such a good chance to get, and it helps me, gives you a chance to get familiar from who I'm going to play. Yeah. But then also when I play against somebody, I know what they do because Like, yeah, fighting
I have
against
some
them.
understanding of
Yeah,
how
like
they
I
play.
think I know what the commands have to be to do certain things.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it definitely makes me more familiar.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's what I believe World Tour, that's why it's the first option when you jump in to the game, because they want folks, especially folks who may not have ever played a Street Fighter, you hadn't played a Street Fighter in a long time, they want you to start with World Tour mode because it's the game, you know, where you're playing through like a story game, and you're gonna learn so much more about the game around it by playing. Of course, you can always just jump into any other mode anytime you want. And like the fighting ground, which is like, it's almost like it's broken up into 3 games, because there's World Tour mode, there's fighting grounds, and then there's Battle Hub. And fighting grounds is just like fighting grounds in any other game. That would be the whole game,
yes.
because it's just that's where most of your like plain old fighting game stuff is, your offline and online stuff. That's where you go to fight your online
I
battles.
was confused. I went to Battle Hub trying to do my ranked matches.
Oh, it's all in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it from there.
Well, it was
You can
like
do it from there,
I'm
but
like, wait,
I think you could do ranked matches from anywhere, really, except for maybe a World Tour. You actually might even be able to do it.
Yeah, I don't think you can
well,
do
you
it
have
on
to
World
you have to go to the thing and do it whereas if you do it through Battle
Fighting
Hub, you
rounds.
could fighting rounds. You can just toggle it on while you do stuff.
Yeah.
You don't
Or
have to go. No, everything's in the menu.
Is it?
Yeah, like, so if you're in Battle Hub,
Battle
you just
Hub,
hit,
yeah. You hit,
X or
square or whatever.
All right. So can we say that some of the menus?
Oh, we talked about that earlier. Me
Okay.
and Zach were talking about that. Yeah.
Because I know you mentioned about changing your banner, which I need you to tell me how to do that because I can't do it. That is probably the only thing that I was just like, hey man,
Yeah.
there's a lot of menus.
There's a lot.
because there's
of
a lot of
menus.
and I get it because there's a lot of customization.
There's so much
There is.
customization
There
in the
is.
game.
It's necessary.
But there are menus within menus, and where you think certain stuff would be, it's not sometimes, and you have no idea how to get to it, because the game, that's like the one thing, the game doesn't really do a good job of telling you all the time how to do stuff. Now, if you ever go through those tips, there's like 118 tips in there. And most of that will tell you how to do whatever it is you're trying to do. But I've seen so many folks on Twitch where somebody in chat told them how to do something, and they're like, I had no idea that was even in the game. So yeah, so you have to go into this mode first, then go to here, then press X, then go over to here, then go down to here, then go to here, and it's there. It's like, oh my God, why isn't that just in the main option? Because the main options would have like 100 tabs on the top of it.
That's the thing.
If everything was in the main options,
because of all the accessibility things and stuff like that.
Yep.
Like you said, the tip section, the only problem is that should be sorted better, because it's literally just when you go to tips and it's got the red little notification.
to let
I
you know
go
the stuff.
to it and I'm
There's
like,
new
okay.
stuff in there. Yeah,
Is there a way for me to like just go through them and kind of figure out which ones I don't know about, or it's like nope, it's just as they were popping up as you play through stuff or click on menus, they're being added to that section. It's like
it's
a little convoluted. It reminds me of when I was working in the bank and they had this thing called it wasn't called the encyclopedia, but it was basically that. And people,
that's like when I worked in insurance. It's the same thing.
it's
I
like
know what you're talking about.
You click on it and it's got a drop down to another drop down to another drop down, and it's like could you just search things? Well, if you search, the bad part is it may just be finding the word that might be associated with a different article.
Yep.
So that's not really the way you want to search. You want
to go what makes sense to whoever created the hierarchy. Yeah, which is the thing here.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah. Like I said earlier to Zach before you got here, is like, I feel like some of this stuff is placed in ways that Capcom, for some reason, whoever created it knows where all this stuff is because they put it there, but nobody else, it doesn't occur to anybody else to go to a different place inside of a mode to get to the thing I'm trying to find.
It's like, yeah, but I mean, why wouldn't you go there? Because it's based on this, that goes to this, that goes to that.
Yeah, in their head it makes sense. Which is, I remember when I was in engineering school. When I switched over from engineering to business, I laughed because they talked about writing instructions for something, and one of the things we learned is like, if you ever working with like an engineer, don't get them to write the instructions. Don't get them to write it at all, because they're thinking at a different place
Yeah, the wavelength is a little
than
different.
you are. Yeah, and what makes sense to them doesn't always make sense to the common mind. So, so it's like if you ever run across something like that, you take it and then you know, make it make more sense. Just put it that way. And sometimes I feel like that's the way this was. You got a computer guy who's putting in code and putting in all this awesome stuff.
Yes.
That you want. But they're putting it in places. Again, I kind of understand you couldn't put it all in the main options because it would be breakdown so many times. So they put it in places where they think at least it makes sense for it to be, and it's just not.
And most of the time it does.
And it does when you think about it. But if you're just trying to find out how to erase training mode from the random select stage thing, because I finally turned that crap off. Just so everybody knows, it's like if you're in the battle hub or wherever you can get to the fighting options. What do they call it? The character options or something like that. I know if you're in the hub, if you press X, it's the part where you select your character and your style there and everything. Tab over to the stage thing and it's there. Go down to the random select and there's then you press a button that says customize random stage. It'll show all the stages with like a checkbox. You go down to the stages that you don't want, uncheck them and check the ones that you do, and you're good. So
yeah, it was like,
so I won't see a training stage, even though everybody else may turn off everything but training stage.
Yeah,
folks are idiots.
The stages I learned
When you play online,
are client based, not server based.
Yes, because they're
which
all
is
exactly
weird
the
because
same.
there was two people that downloaded Street Fighter 6 on PC for the lock-in, and they were playing each other. And I was coming back from using the restroom.
oh snaps!
And I looked over, I'm like, they're playing each other, but they're on completely different stages. I was so confused.
Dude, that would have thrown me off so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wait. I'm like, oh, they're not. They're just playing ranked probably. I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, no, they're playing each other because they're doing the exact same moves, the exact same characters. They're just on
Yeah.
two completely different stages.
Yeah, and
I
that's
was
awesome.
super thrown off on that.
Yep. You could be on different stages with different songs playing is great. So now I can just be on whatever stage I like, and super serious pro guy can just play on his stupid training stage and whatever.
Stormwing accurately see the frame data. It's no distractions.
Whatever.
No.
Yeah.
You ain't
yeah.
never ready to lock in. Okay. You would have never made it in the hyperbolic time chamber.
These kids wouldn't have never made it when I was a kid, and we didn't know nothing. There were no such thing as frames back then. We only knew if one person hit a light punch button and the other person hit a fierce punch button, one had more priority. That's what it was called back in the day.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, because nobody.
Shaking your hand at the clouds. But I do remember priority.
Priority. That's what everybody called it back then. Of course, now everybody says, well, it's frame advantage, and you're plus on this and minus on that.
No, it had to be priority back then because it didn't make sense that Rugal could just crescent kick his way out of every move. You can't tell me there was a frame. I've already started my move.
Literally cheating.
Yeah.
That's all that crap was.
It's talking about it's frame advantage. No, he can't be at frame advantage on me if I've already started my attack.
Yeah.
The burn knuckle is out there. Okay. He just swinged out of it.
So that move obviously has more priority.
Okay. The game prioritizes his move over mine. Swing.
And that's the way it was back then, which is still why to this day I refuse to learn frame stuff, because we learned by just playing.
Yeah.
And that's still the way I do it. And a lot of times, a lot of times, like out of the bat, I'm really good at these games compared to other folks, especially the folks who are trying to learn all the frames and stuff like that. But then given a couple of weeks or so when they really learn all the stuff, then they'll beat me. But then I usually always get told that I don't play like everybody else. It's like, yeah, because I don't run to YouTube and see what Justin Wong is doing. I learned to play the game myself. I come up with my own style. That's the way we used to do it.
First of all,
YouTube has ruined everything.
Kids to get off his lawn.
Yeah, mind your blood pressure, sir. Okay, but also I do agree with that's the way I'm gonna play it. Like for me, some of the most fun that I've had with this game was what we did Friday.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
just passing the controller around, and like now it's even better. I think this is just for me personally. It's even better for me doing it in that setting because there's a time and place for the competition, like the super competitive aspect of it. Like, you know, when we do the weeklies, we can be cutthroat about it. But I remember the one aspect I used to hate growing up was like when you was trying to learn a game and there was so much pressure around you from everybody to already be able to win. And it's like, bro, I want to learn the game. So now we can do it in the way that we were doing. And it was just like, yo, this is super fun to be like, see somebody have some really cool things that happen. Like your brother did the thing with Ryu where he did the kick to the air tatsu and it bounced him off the wall. And I was like, bro, I didn't even know he could do it that way. Like that was super clean.
Yeah.
Or Sam giving everybody the full overdrive gauge combo across the screen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I beat him.
Hey,
You sure did.
hey, I did too. 3-0 them, baby.
And that's what I'm saying.
Ran the gambit.
That's why this part is the most fun because
is.
even he's having to learn his way around it. Now, when he does,
So I'm never gonna play him again.
Yeah,
Oh, you
it's-
think I'm gonna play you not in
No,
racket?
I never played. I'm beating that one time, and I'm done. We're
Hey.
one. Hey, we're technically 1-1,
Hey,
and that's where it's gonna stay.
I'm gonna put my start GG stats up and link my message to everybody. Got wins over him. Boy, you just never know who I got wins over. You know what I'm saying? Some old school players, some new school. You know? No, but it man, like that's why I didn't have that feeling when we were playing, and I know we weren't playing in person when 5 came out, but I still didn't have that feeling of like this is fun to lose in.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
This
yeah.
is fun to learn. This isn't like, yes, I'm still frustrated when I don't win because I'm trying to, like, when I'm playing my rank matches, I'm trying to win all of those matches.
Oh, I'm getting angry. I can tell you that.
Like,
But no,
how did you-
I thought the same thing. I probably never had so much fun losing at a game
Yes.
than I have at this.
But what is the way you described your anchor at this game?
Oh, I'm Call of Duty Steven angry.
All right. So a lot of you don't know Call of Duty Steven angry. But Steven, even when winning, is upset at the game. Even when having all his kill streaks, he's upset at the game. There's no way that the game is fun. Yet he refuses to ever stop playing it. Okay? Went to that little drought during like Ghost and Advanced Warfare and stuff. But these past like 4 Call of Duty games we've been on them, and the game is cheating and everybody's the new thing with Modern Warfare 2 is everybody's so fast. Why is everybody so much faster? But yes, hearing that Zach was getting mad at the game made me feel a little bit better because you'll lie to you. It'd be some butt hurtness, you know, inside in a couple of these matches.
Hey,
Bro,
you wouldn't be mad if you didn't care.
Yes.
I get
That's-
cheated constantly.
Wrestling is the same way. Whether they cheer or boo, that means that they care. If they don't make a sound, that's bad.
Yeah, you know what? That's what it was though. Playing Street Fighter 5, I had no reaction.
You just didn't care.
I was just like,
It's like, oh, okay.
okay, sure.
I mean, sure. I mean, you know, I enjoyed 5, even though, you know, obviously it was not a great launch.
yeah, we
to
just
say
didn't
the
stick
least.
around to see what it
Yeah,
transformed
and
into.
yeah, y'all didn't really stick around. I did because, you know, I'm a big Street Fighter fan, so I'm gonna play it. But it's like it's one of those things where I didn't realize I haven't felt like this playing a Street Fighter since Street Fighter 2 Turbo came out on the SNES.
Oh, word?
Just like couldn't wait to play it, and then played it, and it's everything that I thought it was going to be and more. And it's just like I can't wait to play it again. And I can't wait to play it again. I can't wait to get to the next part in
Yes.
World Tour mode. And I can't wait to finally start doing my rank placement when I feel like I'm ready with E Honda, which I'm probably going to do tomorrow on stream.
Stacking up. Might as well just go ahead and get them over with, man. You can climb up.
Yeah, that's how I'm learning. I just learning through ranked. I don't even give a fuck about my rank.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I get
yeah.
placed iron, so whatever.
That's
The worst you can put placed. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, I'm in bronze now. I've climbed out of iron.
He's already climbing up.
there you go. There you go.
No, I caught a nice little streak for my ranks. So I actually lost. I went 50, like 500 in my ranking, but I lost my very first match against that Jamie, who you don't know who you are, but you know what I'm saying. I gave you the beats the second 2 matches. You know what I'm saying. So I had a 2-game streak, and I ended up having a 5-game streak, and I ended up getting to a platinum Ryu. And he gave me the beats, and I was like, "Well, I did get a couple good hits on him. Let me run it back." And I had a little better showing, but he still was, he was too ready for me. Then I got popped down to Cammy, which I think she was like Platinum 1. And we went round 3 each time, but well, actually, no, we went round 3 the first game, and in the second game, she 2-0'd me, and it was clear that I was not ready for any of what was happening. Like,
so what you ended up gold?
Too.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But hey, the game thought you were like, this guy might be platinum.
Yeah, it might be.
Let's give him a shot.
What made me feel good about like the wins and stuff, I went against a Kimberly. They didn't want a rematch.
Nah.
And I kind of feel bad for Kimberly because I feel like out of all the people, she does have to do a lot of like target combos.
She doesn't really hurt a lot on her own. She has to work for it.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Jamie's kind of the same way.
It is. But he has the ability to get to the point where he's doing decent damage.
But he has to do chores, as some folks call it.
Yeah.
He's a chores character. He has to do chores before he's good.
Yeah, he's go through.
They don't go
12 labors.
They don't go round to round too, right? He starts over. Every round.
He starts over.
The good thing with Kimberly though is she has threes and she's good for the rest of the match.
She's good for the rest of the match. Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah, so
it's like Manon in the medals. Like, keeping the medals between rounds is kind of wild for her.
Do not mess around and let her get those command grabs early, because it makes everything else so much harder.
So Jonathan's playing Kimberly, and every time he S3, I'm like, oh, I'm not winning any more rounds.
Really?
Yeah. Especially with Zangief, I can't keep up with her.
Yeah.
She's like trying to
she's
swat a fly.
She's like Chip on Guilty Gear. But
Lord.
But with way more options and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And like just the characters, like this whole starting roster is like really good.
It really is.
I know they're for folks like Zach, your character's not really in the game.
Yeah.
But I think as a whole, it's a really good roster though.
Yeah, I'm not complaining about the roster, and I understand why El Forte's not in the game, and
that's because they hate greatness. I mean, there is one glaring flaw about Capcom over the past decade or so. They really do hate great things. They like good things. So there's been a lot of good stuff, but like truly greatness, something that eludes them. And that's okay. Not everybody can really handle, quesadilla bombs like that. I get it. But let me tell you, if I see any luchador-like character in World Tour mode and they do any sort of a splash move, I'm going to be upset if I don't get access to those movelets. Because if I have to, I'll be the El Forte avatar and just do that. If the moves are in the game, we just do avatar battles only. I don't care.
God, the possibilities of what they could put in this game are endless.
Yes.
And I try not to think about it because I feel like I'm just going to be disappointed when they don't do it. But they could put moves in the game, man. I mean, they already have moves in the game. Like just give us access to it.
Unlike 5, and this is unfair to 5. I will say this. Unlike 5, I'm excited to see what this turns into, because if it could start off like this and what 5 turned into, especially from just watching 5, it became something that was like, okay, yeah, I'll watch this when I see competitions of it. Where like early 5, I'm like, I have no interest in seeing this on my screen. Like I don't enjoy watching it. I didn't enjoy playing it. If they have the same like increase in quality or just like fixes and just making the game overall better, and let's say three seasons or 3 years from now, like what the game could turn into, that I'm excited at that aspect of seeing what it can turn into versus being like, oh, we got to wait for 3 years for the game to get good.
Yeah, and this one started off so good already. It's like you can't imagine that it's just where it can go from here.
Like I'm excited to see what changes Rashid brings to the game. Like, are there going to be things? Well, I'm not excited for the character of Rashid.
Who's the first? Is he the first DLC?
Yeah.
So I'm not excited for him to be in the game to have to fight against. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, what else can he bring? Like, what do we get to see in World Tour?
It'll change.
What change? Like, are there going to be things like, with 5, you end up getting more moves for everybody. Like.
Yeah, I was thinking of that.
Like, does that happen with this, where we end up getting like a new?
What did you just say? 5 you got extra moves for characters that are already in the game.
Yeah. As the game progresses,
they went back and changed. They added extra V skills for everybody.
Extra supers, right?
Extra super moves, and then some characters just got whole new moves.
Huh.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. At some point, there's going to be a refresh to this game, and the game already feels like a refresh to the whole fighting game genre itself. because, NRS aside, this is like the bar now.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
which is I'm so glad that was Capcom's goal. That's like, because I said for years, they messed around and let everybody else become the fighting game companies besides them. And they were like, you know what? We're tired of not being the fighting game company. We created fighting games. We're gonna, obviously they didn't create it, but
yeah.
They're the Godfathers.
Well, yeah, clearly.
Definitely. It's like, no, we need to be the ones that everybody else tries to be again.
Yeah. Well, because like clearly the NRS thing is they've created their own lane in this.
Yeah.
So like, I don't think they care as much, especially after Mortal Kombat X. They don't care as much about trying to be the premier eSports fighting game. They just want to make the best NRS games.
Yeah.
Which is great for me because I never wanted to do the competitive side of that as much. I tried it a decent amount online at least with X, but I didn't have that same desire with 11, and I don't think I will with maybe Injustice 3. But they're like, this is what we do. We're good at this. And I just hope from a single-player side that they figure out ways to raise their bar. But for all the other fighting games, to your point, buddy, you can't – I mean, what do you want me to – like, obviously you're not going to make a War 2 and all that stuff, but, like, everything else.
But you got to – you have to do something else.
You got to do something else.
From now on.
You can't just give us a versus
be
mode.
Like – hell, even the last Sam show, which I still absolutely love, it kind of is like bare bones now compared to this,
whatever SNK is doing for the Mark of the Wolves that they talking about they're going to be doing, or the Fatal Fury or whatever they're going to be calling it. Like, hey man, it can't just be anybody who wants to be considered like a marquee fighting game can't just do what you've been doing, and everybody's only been doing what they've been doing because Capcom allowed it. Well,
Capcom only came out with, with this stuff in 4, and then they only came out with that stuff in 5. Well, that's easy to beat because Capcom, whether they knew or cared or not, they were still the ones that everybody looked at. And when 5 came out with nothing, everybody else thought that they could get away with that with that too. Dragon Ball, if you really look at what's in there.
I mean, you talking about the fact that you start in an online hub to start the game? Like,
yeah.
I gotta go to the menus. Like, now you start in the hub, and then you can run to the menu, run to the store.
All right, whenever some kid wants to play that game, when they come into our store, it's brutal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I have to sit there.
You got to walk them through. Because the whole thing is you can't just give them the controller.
It's not intuitive at all.
Jump Force is the same way.
Fuck that game.
Well, we obviously, but Saturday, matter of fact, this kid was like, I want to play. Me and him want to play against each other. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to hook a controller up and stuff. And he's like, it's not letting me do it. It's only letting me do just me fighting against the computer. And I'm like, well, where are you at? And I look, and he's like at some like desk, looks like Phantasy Star Online. And he's like, missions and this and that. I'm like, well, you got to leave out of this menu. And I'm pressing start to like, go back to the main menu. And there's no option to do that. No. You got to run downstairs to the online, offline area to pick offline fights, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is stupid.
I know.
But again, you're allowed to do that because like what was a hub is more than what Street Fighter V was giving you.
Oh yeah.
Like just having a hub was more than they were giving you. They didn't even have like easy accessible rooms half the time. Like well in the early portion of it.
Yeah, it's like folks. I know a lot of folks did not really get into 5 until like season 3 when Arcade Edition came out, which is fine. That was definitely the way to do it. But a lot of folks have no idea how bare bones 5 was.
And
it's like if you didn't have internet, only thing you could do was play with somebody else. Because there was no arcade mode.
Arcade mode.
Nothing.
No time
No
trial,
arcade mode.
No. What was the training mode? Was like you can go in there and practice moves. You want the help.
Yeah.
You want your bars to refill, or you wanted to do it gradually.
It was ridiculous. It was so bad.
Yeah. The thing with this game, what I hope it represents is just like you said, a raising of the bar, a increase in the accessibility stuff as far as getting new players, to be able to play your game, like it's kind of going to be required if you want people to give this a shot. Like,
Yep.
I know it's not going to be a game that's, number one on Twitch or anything like that, but there's going to be people that play this game that haven't played or any of the new fighting games, because that's what happens too. Like, Street Fighter's really good, right? So then people start asking, okay, well, when's the next big one? Okay, well, Mortal Kombat's it's its thing, so it's going to get its thing. But okay, what does Tekken have?
Yeah, that's been the big question now. It's like, what's Namco going to put in that game?
Like, from everything I've been seeing from people who've gotten a chance to play it, they say like, "Hey, this plays really, really good. It's really, really fun."
There's no doubt that it's going to be a great fighting game, but it's going to be a good video game.
All the pressure is going to be on Tekken because
all of it now,
because Street Fighter, obviously, but then Mortal Kombat 1 is going to be a complete package.
Yeah, it's already going to be.
And what's coming right behind Tekken 8? It's Project L.
Yep,
and it's going to be free to play,
and that'll be they can.
And it's going to be its own animal.
Get away with, just being a fighting game, really, without having to do any extra stuff. But if they also come out with extra stuff, too.
Well, see, here's the thing, though. They will, because of the people who's putting the money behind it, they have a standard that's really, really high. Mm-hmm. So they're going to have stuff in it. Because they're going to be, like, if you don't think that Riot's, like, not even the people that's just making the game, because I'm assuming the people making the game is playing this and watching this. But the people higher up who are going to be hearing the things that come out in the mainstream news about it, and they go, "Oh, well, our game has to have that, right? Or our game has that, right? It has something for new players. It has some sort of single play, like not even a single player content, but like."
I'm pretty sure they're focused on new players because they know they're going to get a lot of new people just to fighting games in general.
Yeah, because it being free to play and it being a Riot game,
being a Riot game, yeah.
Like, there's going to be a lot of stuff that what Street Fighter does to help new players, that's going to be in Project L.
Yeah.
Like, because they've already had to teach people how to play MOBAs and to help people play card games, but also
card games and Valorant.
The Valorant stuff. Like, they've had to train like new players on stuff for genres that they had never played before. They're going to do the same thing here. Man, like, I think Tekken 8 is going to be a fun fighting game, but
they have a lot of pressure.
The character reveals is one thing, but you got to start saying what you can do besides fighting.
Yeah, because you look at what's in 7, and it was fine at the time, but like after this, it's like Tekken. You imagine is one of the in most fighting game fans' heads. That's one of the
biggest 3D one.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see if if they come out with basically what was in 7, which I would argue is some of the worst single player content in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it had the story mode, which was all right, but like the arcade run kind of character story little mode thing where you fought like 3 or 4 fights, like 5 had to.
Yeah.
Whereas, where you had some characters only fought 2 fights and then you get a cutscene and that's it. Like, that's not going to fly anymore.
No.
Just having that just to appease the single player folks.
You're talking about these interests that everybody's got these unique character interests based on who they're fighting. It's like, okay, that's cool.
That's cool, yeah.
But that can't be the.
But yeah, and Capcom has raised the bar now to what a fighting game is, because again, whether they want it to be or not, they're still the flag bearer of the whole FGC thing. Fighting games as a whole, no matter who's at the top, because for a while there it was probably NRS, then I'm sure a bunch of folks would argue Arc System Works, and then Namco, and then Capcom. But now Capcom is firmly, I believe, of course, once again,
MVC4 after that, MVC4 after Project L.
Sure, whatever. But
that's the rumor.
I'm saying,
that's the rumor, but I don't believe it.
Then what, Nolan? Then you go over talking about, I can't wait to play his.
What I tell you 2 weeks ago?
What?
Homeworld 3 is going to be delayed?
Oh, well, you did.
What happened?
It got delayed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You can believe him now, you can believe him later. It's up to you now, Nolan. I'm just saying.
We'll see. But no, but Capcom has aimed to and achieved the goal of putting themselves back at the top. It's like, all right, everybody, this is how it's done from now on. If you want to be a top tier fighting game, This is at least what you have to do. And the rest is like, well, we've already been doing that, so we're fine. More or less.
Yeah. I mean,
it's really Namco and Arxis.
Because the thing with Arxis is like,
if they want to stay considered, up there.
So
honestly, I don't think Arxis needs to do anything different than what they have been doing, to tell you the truth. Because their games are so niche anyways.
Yeah. But they come up with
definitely has to do something with
Namco,
because
Namco,
like I said, the ball is in their court. All the pressure is on them.
It's kind of on them because they always.
Like I said, our systems I don't think need to really do anything. Honestly, I hope they don't change anything. I like their games. They're in their niche anyways, and they play well.
Finally kind of reached a level of like mainstream that they never had with Dragon Ball, but that's still kind of Bandai. They made it for Bandai.
Yeah.
But Strive.
But it's their system. It's their baby.
Yeah, but Strive is really them as this is our game type of thing. And a lot of folks' heads, the old Guilty Gear games were selling millions of copies. It was selling maybe tens of thousands,
literally
millions if you combined every single one.
I don't think if you combined every one, you would still get to
probably right.
Hey, look, we're talking about across the generations from PlayStation all the way to like PS4,
Dreamcast. I mean, yeah. The original PlayStation all the way to PS4. I think if you wrapped up everything that Arxis made, so that's what the Guilty Gears, the Blaze Blues.
How what did the Blaze Blues do?
One-off games.
Blaze Blues started. So the thing with Blaze Blues is they started off selling better than Guilty Gears had started off selling, which is why they just was like, well, why would we keep making Guilty Gears if the Blaze Blues is doing what they doing? Mm-hmm. And even then, it was like it's still a niche. It's still a niche.
And it's niche, and I think it came out at a time because remember, Blaze Blue came out right behind Street Fighter 4.
Yep.
Which is one of the main reasons I never got into the Blaze Blue games because it seemed like every time they planned it like this, they always seemed to release a new version of Blaze Blue right after Street Fighter 4 came out.
Super Street Fighter 4. Okay, cool.
Blaze Blue
continuum shift.
Yep.
It was like,
are you kidding me?
They did what was it? Ultra Street Fighter 4, and it was Central Fiction, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No.
Chrono Phantasm.
Yeah, Chrono Phantasm.
Yeah. So, and again, I think they might have planned it that way. They wanted to ride the excitement train. It's like, hey, you like fighting games and anime? We got this thing over here too. And, they kind of came up at a time when fighting games weren't a major thing anymore. Because again, folks don't realize how big fighting games were back in the Street Fighter 2 era. From like 91 till about 97, 8. So it was like the biggest thing in the world.
Blaze Blue hit 1.7 million.
The franchise?
Yeah.
Think about that.
So yeah.
That's like 6 games, bro.
It's 4.
Are they counting? They're not counting the crossover?
Talking about cross tag? I don't know.
Cross tag.
No, I don't think that's in there.
Okay. No, cross tag did well.
Yeah, cross tag did probably what their most successful.
Maybe one of. I know Strive now, just as a single game release, is like they've never released. I don't think they've ever released like actual numbers, but just going off of industry info out there, it was like we know it must have broken 1 million.
Yeah, this number was actually back in 2012. So this was before cross tag even came out.
Okay, yeah,
the 1.7 million.
Yeah, but Arxis has never really reached like a mainstream kind of reach until Strive. Mm-hmm. And of course,
it also helped them being like one of the few fighting games on next gen.
Yeah, and them being the developers behind Dragon Ball certainly doesn't hope, but the average person doesn't realize that's an Arxis game. They only see it as a Bandai Namco game. So, but
yeah, they should realize that it's different because it's not that trash Naruto Jump Force type game.
Yeah, but you know how many people was probably like, man, I thought this was going to be like Jump Force with Dragon Ball.
I'm sure they were.
Unfortunately, yes,
because those games sell.
Yes, they do. Unfortunately,
but
you are a gross human if you like those games.
Well, but I wonder if Arxis is now. Will they stay in their kind of their lane, kind of the niche anime? We make games that look better than everything else.
It's been working for them for the last 20 years.
Yeah, they really were the ones that stuck with fighting games when everybody else didn't. Like everybody else left, besides Namco, and them were pretty much the only ones that stuck with it.
So and it seems to be working for them still.
Yeah, and
why change what's working?
And so but I think if they stay there, I don't know. I think
they have
it's kind of up to them because
I feel like
they're not this huge company that has to pay for
right. I feel like they're like NRS. They've
like
carved out their lane.
Oh yeah,
they can just stay in their lane, and I think they'll be fine.
I mean, they've survived with selling $25,000 of a certain game, and now they have these other games, and now they're making money and stuff. I'm wondering if they want to stay in the kind of the mainstream of it. And if they do,
if like Guilty Gear changes their direction,
yeah. And now Capcom has come out. They've come back and say, "Hey, we're number one again," and whatever Capcom does, everybody has to follow now. I don't
think Arxis thought they were number one though after Guilty Gear.
Well, no, but I don't. But I can guarantee you, they never thought of themselves as the number one game at an Evo. Which they have been. For a while, not just Evo, but any
major.
Big, yeah. Because DreamHack was going on this weekend. Strive was supposed to be the main game there. Well, they threw in 6 at the last minute. I watched a lot of that Saturday and then yesterday, even though I think I was playing Zelda when the finals was going on, so I missed I would see the beginning of the matches and then miss it. But so Street Fighter 6 originally was supposed to be the first game that they were supposed to do yesterday. So I'm watching somebody, and he's thinking the same thing I did. They said that it was going to be the first game bright and early in the morning. So it was like 10 or 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Street Fighter 6 was supposed to be the first thing on there. Well, it starts, and they're playing Strive. So everybody's kind of confused. So finally, I went to start.gg, and all of a sudden, Street Fighter got moved to 4. It was now where Strive was. Because guess what? So many folks watch Street Fighter because it's the first kind of major thing that happened. And so many folks watch Street Fighter, they were like, I jokingly, but it's kind of true, said to myself, it's like, oh, the natural order of things have kind of come back. The poor anime game got kicked to the back of the line because Street Fighter just bumped it out of the top spot.
And Strive came out at the perfect time.
Yes,
it did.
They got to seize golden opportunity of nothing else to compete with it. It was being a new game.
Yep.
It was it was the first new game because
only
Mortal Kombat 11 was
only game on the next gen.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat 11 was just a port. This was the first. This game is being made on the new system.
Yeah, and so, but yeah, it was just funny seeing them get bumped like that, and I was like, oh, Street Fighter bumped Strive. It wasn't even a second. It was like, nah, you're all the way. We're gonna get you out of the way so we can get the big game at the top.
Well, if people don't realize it, our Gulf Coast Throwdown in July is going to be Street Fighter is going to be at the Strive slot now.
Yep,
probably
Strive will be down a spot,
and Strive will be down in the midday.
We'll see.
We won't.
If the Street Fighter players come out.
Yeah. I mean, that is still true.
That's true. I mean, if more Strive players come out, then it'll take its spot back. But I don't think that'll be the case. I think people are happy with this.
Not at first.
Because let me tell you, just from my experience, when 5 was coming out, we had so many folks tell us, don't even bother putting 5 on there because I'm only playing 4. Because we were supposed to do MVC 3 and Street Fighter 5, and that was going to be it. But so many folks came and was like, no, that's a mistake. And nobody wants to play 5. We're only going to do 4. We're only going to do 4. I'm pretty sure I told this story before.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah. And nobody.
I'm fine with it, though. I'm just
nobody. When we sat there for 3 hours, the slot that we were supposed to be playing for, not a single person signed up for it. We had 40, 50 some odd folks show up for 5, though. A lot of them, the exact same folks who said that they weren't going to play 5, but you know what? It's the new Street Fighter. Of course they were going to play it. So, because once again, like it or not, Street Fighter is the cultural icon of the FGC. It just is. It's the number one. It's always going to be that way.
Well, people see it's held in a certain light. It is held as the tournament fighter. There's nothing really you can do about it. Mm-hmm. That's what I was saying about NetherRealm. They realized that you could make, an overall better package, which I don't think it's really that hard to argue that Mortal Kombat X or 11 was a better overall package than Street Fighter 5.
That's not an argument at all.
Yeah, like
that's hard to argue.
It's clearly obvious, right?
Clearly.
But no matter what they did, they couldn't. If a good Street Fighter exists, it's going to be the number one fighting game like in the FGC world.
Yeah.
And when you were talking about Arxis, like they're in a good spot because they started to get their audience. The thing that they can do is don't try to put, the cart before the horse. Just keep doing what you do, but do it better each time.
Yep.
You will grow the fan base, and you could be able to lock yourself in as having maybe not the Street Fighter, that title, but you could be guaranteed that like what Tekken did basically.
Basically,
right? Like Tekken was a new IP, and we already had Virtual Fighter, and they could have easily been like, why would I play Tekken when Virtual Fighter exists? It's like, well, Tekken kept doing their thing, and then all of a sudden they come out with Tekken 3, like Strive, for example, where you already were known, but now you get the game that people are actually like regular people know of. Mm-hmm. Now, what do? Now, I would advise you not to make big Guilty Gear next, like Tekken did with Tekken 4, but I mean, it seemed to work out for them. Which is not my cup of tea because everybody just seemed big and.
I want to see if we're looking at like what the next Guilty Gear is supposed to give us. Mm-hmm. I would like to see a tag system.
Ooh,
I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
In the Guilty Gear world, or some kind of, maybe even like a what?
He's looking at.
I'm looking at the footage. Yeah.
Or maybe even like a Mortal Kombat 1 type thing where it's like a assist, just an assist, not a tag system. But we'll see.
We'll see.
I like Guilty Gear, so
yeah. I mean, the thing that the best thing overall for fighting games is when a game comes out and it's really good and it does this. It's going to make you have to get better. And we hope that all of the games that we already like, bro, I want SNK to see this and be like, all right.
Yes.
You can't do this again with King of Fighters. Like, King of Fighters 15 is not a bad game.
It's
a good game. It's
great
good.
game.
It's a good fighting game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I bought it. I enjoy it. I play it. Like, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't enough next time. Whatever you got coming next, you can't.
Which, again, but they're kind of in the same place that Arxis is. And they're very much still old school in how they do. I mean, they haven't really changed their business model since 1993. If you think about it, they're just going to make a fighting game and
compilations of old arcade games.
Because still Sam Show's still their highest selling game ever, and it was like nearly 2 million. I know it's not quite 2, but that's the highest selling game ever. And so again. And maybe in some folks' heads, some folks may not know who SNK even is, but maybe in SNK fans' heads, they're making these classic games, and yeah, they were classics, but they weren't really sellers, and they're kind of in the same spot where I wonder if SNK, whatever AAA game that they're making, which Crystalis, I hope, they're kind of in the same spot where I wonder. Are they going to try to stay in their lane, just be kind of the second tier Capcom, or second or even third tier?
If you want to be second tier Capcom, you got to at least make something other than fighting games.
Well, just at least in the fighting game space, because like you said, the next Fatal Fury game after this, if they come out with something that's just basically Sam Show, it's going to look quaint now.
Yep.
It's like, this is just a game, and coming out with something like that at $60.
Yeah, that
not
too.
Less $70.
Yeah,
and it's just that. Oh no.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad for them.
No, I mean, even me, someone if they come out with Sam Show 2 or whatever the next Sam Show is gonna be,
you gonna get it.
Be called. I'll get it.
He's gonna get it.
I'm gonna get it. But I'm also gonna see and agree with everybody going, is this it? So all I get is a training mode and an online mode that doesn't work half the time.
Like I will like Capcom still has the season pass stuff. They still have microtransaction stuff in there. Like there are things that they have in there still to make money, and I understand that. But in an era where you're expected to have to pay for every cosmetic thing, there's still a lot of stuff that you can get by just playing the game. Like there has to be give them credit for doing that because I don't know if it's really required anymore.
Yep. So And then real quick, I know we're running out of time, but I do want to talk about maybe some bad things.
Menus.
I've heard, menus aside, yeah. I've heard a lot of folks complain about the World Tour mode and not running well. Now, I haven't played this on a console. I've only been playing it on Steam.
Yeah, I've been playing on Steam too.
Have you had any issues with World Tour mode, like slowing down?
Yes, I'm like not in the beginning, but as like so many things come on the screen at once, all the like, because like sometimes enemies spawn and there was already enemies chasing me,
Right.
and it could start to slow down.
So,
But then like if I get into a fight, it like gives it a chance to reset everything.
see, I have the opposite issue. I like on the outer world part when you're just going around and going from place to place. I've never had it drop below 60 frames in that part. The only time it slows down for me is when I'm in the alley in Chinatown and when I'm in the Hagar Park place, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
The game slows down, and it's not like a jerky slowdown. It's like you're playing in slow motion, kind of.
Yeah, like a 0.75 speed.
On Saturday, I heard folks complaining. It's like, man, fix this world tour mode. It is so messed up. And I was like, I haven't had any issues until I got to those parts.
I thought it was a hardware issue for me. So I
don't know if it's a console versus PC, because I know folks on console complain that, hey, the frame rate,
I always assume everything is a hardware issue.
Yeah, like the frame rate isn't high,
so you should be fine.
but you can. I know on the consoles you can turn it off of perform. You can turn on performance mode and it'll always run at a smooth frame.
I'm assuming
frame
our
rate.
stuff is by default on. Or you mean like per game or?
Well, like I know on consoles you can either
I'm assuming we're on performance mode because
you can either make it look better or run better.
Yeah.
And if you set it to run better, and then you can go to War Tour settings and then set the frame rate to always be a certain amount. Otherwise, it's going to go up and down depending on what else going on. But yeah, that. There was one more thing too that was kind of like I hope they kind of fixed that, but I can't remember now. I should have wrote it down.
Well, yeah, I know. Yeah, the World Tour thing is just, bro, it was like 20 of those random enemies on the screen. Like I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that'll probably cause some frame issues. Like, but yeah, like I said, once I get into a fight,
but it's not like Pokemon levels.
No, not at all. No, it's like, it's the guy in the background. Like it's 15.
The LODs are weird, yeah.
And then it's the guy in the back is like, oh, he looks kind of.
Yeah, it looks like choppy, but the closer you get to him, he gets more frames of animation and then more detail drawn in and stuff.
But yeah, I didn't have anything to where the game was running at half speed or anything. But I did hear people say stuff about they need to bug fixes and stuff like that.
Yeah. The hub.
Battle Hub?
Yeah, thank you. It, like a lot of the stuff isn't there yet. The stores.
Yeah, it's not.
Like some of the stores aren't there yet, and the tournaments, at least still as of yesterday, still aren't there, which I kind of said, they never worked during their tests. Yeah. So
I mean, they just got the
not a big
lobbies
surprise.
up and running on Saturday, so
yeah,
they're probably just going to slowly add that stuff in.
Yeah. So I mean,
get them
and
working.
that's more of a nitpick because I would have liked to tried out the tournaments at least, because that's I kind of like doing that stuff. Plus, there's an achievement for winning 20 of them, and I want to get started on that.
Oh yeah, just start knocking them out, huh?
Well, at least trying. So
all right, well, that's all the time we have this week. I'm sure we'll talk about Street Fighter for the rest of the month. At some point,
the summer games is coming, so we'll jump on that.
That's true. We got summer games next week, but then the week after that, we're supposed to do a Street Fighter podcast where we're playing Street Fighter, and Steven will be here most likely. So we got to figure out the logistics on that, but that's what we're going to be doing the next couple of weeks. Summer of games and more Street Fighter.
Yay!
Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on the YouTube video. Leave reviews on the actual podcast. On YouTube, make sure you finger blast that bell icon so you can get notifications when new episodes come out. And we appreciate everybody hanging out with us a week, and we'll see you next week. Peace.